I'm here with not one, but two members of Linkin Park. Everybody, please welcome Chester Bennington and Rob Borden.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for being here.
For having us.
Good to see you guys.
For having us.
Now, apparently you guys did not record a new album. You completely destructed and rebuilt your band.
Pretty much, yeah. We decided that, we really wanted to make a record that challenged us in a way that we hadn't really been challenged before, and not fall back on the things that made us most comfortable.
Like what? What made you comfortable?
Going with heavy guitars, for example, on choruses, song structures, verse, chorus, verse, bridge, double chorus kind of thing, just that standard thing that we do. And we want to really, push ourselves as songwriters and try new things. And with the help of, Rick Rubin being an excellent captain, the magic started happening, so to speak.
And did you put yourselves in any kind of different environment, or were you still like in a traditional recording studio, recorded at a house? How'd you guys record?
Well, we actually did, when we did the last record, we went to one of Rick's houses and worked on the record there, but this one, we actually came back to the studio that we made Hybrid Theory and Meteora in. So we actually like to write in the studio. So we go into the studio now without the songs complete, and we just kind of write and record at the same time. And on some of the songs, the stuff you're hearing on the record is like the first pass of that, the first idea just coming out.
We did at one time, we were talking about making a record that kind of takes you out of your mind and really takes you on a journey and gets you into the music and out of reality for a minute. And we wanted to be able to get ourselves into a more surreal environment during the process of making the record without having to take drugs or anything like that. So we filled the studio with like 3,000 balloons.
Wow.
And it was nothing gets you out of reality, like walking into, a large room about, a little smaller than this room, waist high in balloons and like laying on the floor and being like, yay! Woo, this is so much fun.
Yeah, the runners that worked at the studio hated us for about a month after making them blow
We need 6 Dora the Explorer balloons now.
Yes.
Yeah, we've never done anything like that before, so it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
That's
Those
cool.
Poor guys, man, their lips were, blue for a week.
Oh, so they were all on the ground? They weren't up above?
No, they were like not filled with helium. They were actually like they're blowing up like thousands. It was crazy. It was hilarious.
But you know what? You're going to be a great story when one of those runners actually becomes an engineer, producer someday. They're going to be like, I remember this one time I worked with Linkin Park and they made me blow up 5,000 balloons.
Yeah.
It'd be one of those like urban legends.
Yeah.
So what's it like working with Rick?
It's good for us because we like the fact that Rick, loves music from a very genuine place. Like he truly is a fan of music, and he likes good songs regardless of what kind of genre they're from. So that works really well with us because if we create a hip hop track that he's feeling, it allows us to really get into that and dive into now making it, really feel honest and sincere. Rather than trying to force a hip hop track out of us because that's what we do.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, he also, we may see him once in a month.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Did you ever get to meet him?
Yeah,
Working with him for 2 records, you actually got to meet him and hang out with him. That's cool.
Yeah, and a lot of people might find that not appealing, but for us, it allows us to be artists. It allows us to, really take his information of, I like this track, I like that track, I feel what you're doing here, but I don't hear a song. This sounds like it was great 10 years ago on somebody else's record, and there's things like that really help us kind of get an idea of what is working and what isn't, and then he leaves, and then we get to go like create music and not have somebody like looming over us, oh, hold on,
Yeah, it seems to me,
on that piece.
in my experience talking to people who've worked with Rick, it's really just about the songs. Like, everything else, obviously he works with great engineers to get great sounds, and you guys are engineers yourselves, but really it just comes down to the basics of, is this a good song or is this not a good song?
Yeah.
Is that pretty much how he works?
Yeah, definitely. And it also, like, the fact that he doesn't stay in the studio all the time, he's coming in every week or every other week. He has fresh ears every time he comes in, because what can easily happen in the studio is, it's like you get into something, you work on it really hard, and you kind of lose all perspective, and you just go down that road. And then I know for me personally, if I put a lot of time into something, I want it to be good because I spent like 2 weeks on it. So, and there's been times when we do that, and he comes in and goes, "I'm not feeling it."
Yeah.
It's just like,
there are some songs that we work on and work on and work on, and we produce them to this point where we actually fool ourselves into believing it's a good song when we just really know how to polish a turd, you know what I mean? And convince ourselves that we have something that's special and we've wasted all this time on it in reality. So, you know, and that's really where I think our relationship with Rick is important, because we're really good engineers in the band. We know what we want to make, and sometimes we can get lost in that the prettiness of the way things sound.
So did you feel a lot of pressure, this being 3 years since your last release? Did you feel any kind of pressure more than normal to record this album?
Unfortunately, you know how touring and everything is so involved in music business nowadays. It takes you out of the studio for so long. You know, a lot of people don't realize that we tour. You know, we've been on the road for 5 of the last 10 years, and then the rest of the time has been in the studio. So
yeah.
It's not like we go out and make a record and then go hang out for 3 years and just like drink margaritas by the pool and laugh about, you know, life and all that kind of stuff. We work really hard, and so I think what's challenging for us and where the pressure is coming from now is really finding a way to make more records more often and still have the chance to go out and play all the shows we want to play.
No, it honestly does feel like a complete album. It's not just a collection of songs. I really like how the first track is actually kind of a preamble that comes back later. Obviously, it's in Catalyst, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Which I thought was really cool, and the segues are really well done.
Yeah, it's definitely an album that I actually recommended that we put it out as one track, and not
I bet
really.
the label loved that.
Yeah, and you know, label and radio are just like, okay, yeah.
One
right.
track for 99 cents.
1 48-minute long track. We do have an option for that. You know, people can do that, but it really is an album that, you know, you put on some headphones and you just kind of let it take you on a trip, you know, and that was definitely an intention that we had the whole time.
And speaking of concepts, this is the cover of the album.
Yeah.
What exactly is this? Is this like a Rorschach? Is it bad that when I look at this, all that I think about is the monster living in my closet eviscerating a cat?
No, that's exactly what it is, actually.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. The album's amazing. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Linkin Park's new album, 1,000 Suns, is out now. Thanks so much for stopping by. We're going to take another break, but up next, we will find out how doctors recommend that you back that shit up. See you in a minute. Welcome back. It's time to talk music headlines with 2 grown men who I expect to get into a fist fight on my show. Today we've got musician and Renaissance man Matt Rubano, and here to not talk about movies is movie critic and comedian Pat Dixon. Welcome, everybody. Hello. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for being here, guys.
Sometimes a band can lose its original members and still keep on rolling. Guns N' Roses and Smashing Pumpkins are on tour right now, and they're both missing founding members, kind of like Journey. But if you know anything about me, I'm an absolute Journey purist. If it's not Steve Perry, it's not the real deal. So the question is, who do you need from the original lineup?
Well, look, Mark, if I'm going to go see Guns N' Roses, I need Axl and I need a guy in a top hat. That's it. Any guy. Could be Slash, could be the Mad Hatter, could be an animatronic bear, just a top hat. That's it.
Right. I mean, nobody's going to really, like, go see just the Heartbreakers, right? Or nobody's going to be like, your friend calls you like, oh, my God, I got tickets to Just See the News. No Huey Lewis, finally. All news.
Unlikely.
Nobody wants
Very
that.
unlikely.
Joe Perry from Aerosmith actually said that they might go on without Steven Tyler. Is that even possible?
I think that's signing up for trouble. I think that's signing up for a really painful tour. Whoever they get, unless it's Liv Tyler, in which case I'm there. 1 ticket sold. The golden rule is you need the singer.
Yeah, I agree. You can lose a lot of
Bass
extraneous bass players. High five to that. You can, bass players are a dime a dozen, that's for sure. You can definitely lose bass players, but like an iconic guitarist or a singer. Slash, exactly. I don't think it's a real band anymore. Yeah.
I feel like I can provide a pretty unique perspective on this issue because I was in a band for a little while, and I was called to replace a guy who left the band, and then 8 years later replaced by that guy.
Ooh!
Whoa! Whoa!
It's one of those circle of life things, dude.
Yeah.
It's, one
It's
of
like
those
when my
circle of
real
life things.
dad came back. Weird. Well, record sales may be down, but people are still buying singles. The New York Times mentioned British pop star Tayo Cruz has sold less than 100,000 copies of his album, but has moved nearly 5 million copies of his singles. What I want to know, are people still buying albums?
I am. I luckily have like a couple of record company moles, friends at different record companies that send me stuff for free. So I am acquiring records, but I still am from like the generation that bought music. So it's not in me to like download and steal. I'm not saying I'm against it. I don't really care to get into it, but I still, if I like an artist and I'm excited about a record that's coming out,
Then
I
you'll
buy
get it for free from one of your friends.
One of my friends / buy it.
Probably a bad time to.
Are you trying to
offer
product
you
placement?
this.
Oh,
Is this
great.
how he spells it?
So you download music.
What? This isn't mine.
That's so uncool.
That's
Honestly,
weird.
that's so uncool.
You're drunk.
You're taking.
You're taking money from people like Mark.
Yeah, you're taking money out of my kid's college. My kid can't go to college now. He's gonna have to get some demeaning job like being a stand-up comic or something.
Hey, how do you even know that you're that kid's real father? Mark, is this changing how people make music? What do you think?
There's been a long time where I think people are really frustrated with labels because they go out and they buy an album for like, $18 or $20, and there might be one or two good tracks on it. And now with like iTunes and things like this, people can go and buy individual songs, and it's really putting the onus back on the artists and the labels to make great music.
Right. Like now Kanye is releasing a single. Kanye West. Releasing a single every Friday. And so Monster is all I can listen to right now. Unbelievable. Have you guys heard Monster? It's
I've
crazy.
not.
But it's like, it puts so much pressure on them, but it's making an album a collection of singles. But what's the last great album that you heard? What's the last full album that you were crazy about?
Modern Times, man, that was a great record. It debuted at #1. Bob Dylan was 65 years old, making him the oldest guy to ever debut at #1.
He doesn't look a day over 100. And I have to say, you're going to make fun of me because I talk about it all the time, but Brothers, the Black Keys' latest album, I'm going absolutely crazy about, and the XX. So, do you think people can still make money from albums?
I think you can still make money in the music business. It's just in much smaller increments. How much does the single go for when you buy that? 99 cents?
99 cents.
Yeah, 99 cents at a time.
I'll tell you, matter of fact, that you cannot make money in the music industry anymore at all. As an artist, as a recording person, everything shrunk from bands. It trickles down to studio engineers, graphic artists, people that own studios, obviously people that label. I mean, I'm hosting a TV show now.
Isn't it fun?
Oh my God, I never thought I'd get to this point. A new study from Northumbria University claims to have found the dance moves that makes men attractive to women. They filmed guys dancing, converted the images into a computer avatar, and had women grade them. Turns out women pay attention to the torso, neck, and head. Here's an example of good dancing. Yeah, get some. It's a birthday. It's your imaginary birthday. Go dance. Oh my God, look at him. He does no genitalia. What is going on there?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my God, that is.
Yeah, Amy. That's what I'm talking
Case
about.
and point.
I have
Sorry.
never wanted to fuck a hologram so much.
Nobody blames you. No, I've never been attracted to a guy because he had great moves. I've never been like, look at those. It's just, except for Channing Tatum. I mean, if I want to introduce one person in my underwear, right, you guys?
I'm down with that. You know what's upsetting to me is that a computer hologram has better flow and humanity than I do.
That's true.
Actually dancing.
True.
But it does explain why my Commodore 64 gets so much ass.
Well, there you go. He's kind of doing the flight attendant. He's just kind of like going to the exits.
So that was an example of good dancing. Now let's see what bad dancing looks like. Oh.
Oh, that's
Oh my
me.
God.
Yeah.
That's actually my move.
Do the hoppus.
I call
Do
it
the
I'm drunk and I
hoppus.
lost
Do
my
the
keys.
mark.
Yeah.
Do the mark.
This guy just looks like a sex offender.
Yeah. Totally.
He's like, I can't wait
he
to
petting?
meet Chris Hansen. Yeah. What would good slow dancing look like?
Oh, good slow dancing looks like there is no good slow dancing.
Oh, that's
There's no
true.
such thing as good slow. I didn't even slow dance at my wedding.
Right. Awkward.
I wouldn't even dance with my wife.
What
because-
did you do?
I ate sushi. I ate sushi and I left early. Thanks a lot for coming, everybody. See you later.
It's your business.
So, are you a good dancer, Amy?
No, I'm a great dancer. You know the pop and lock? I just lock.
And hold it.
That's it.
Wow.
What do you say?
My
Who's on
favorite
board?
kind of dancing, I like to do just like a good, slow, robotic air hump.
Oh, yeah.
That's
yeah.
good. You
That
know
is
what? That
hot.
attracts women on the dance floor. If you just sit there and grind and just stare at somebody.
Oh, yeah. That is horrifying. Really?
Don't blink.
Oh, no.
They don't like it twitchy and repetitive. That's
No,
what it's, yeah.
That's a
But
problem.
And even
you
if
gotta
they-
save something for the bedroom.
And
right?
even if they look away or maybe like leave and go to a different part of the club, if you follow them, just
Oh, yeah. My favorite dance scene is that pinball machine scene in The Accused.
well, not so sadly. That's all the time we've got for our panel. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, please leave the studio. Still ahead, we've got another performance by The National. Don't miss it. We'll see you in a minute.